your picks and ban or your bans rather don't look too different, it's worth saying, as IG now get to move themselves over to the red side, get to see what those adaptations do become.
Counter pick for TheShy. I wouldn't expect to have been saying that 2025. Let's go, baby. Where the time is cyclical. If you need a representation of time being cyclical, it's IG playing in 2025 LPL. So we have the Callista, the Nocturne, the Aurora ban, rather, and the Rumble, Skarner, the Corki ban. First pick of the Jayce, which we all know is just going to be a tank Jayce setup here, which honestly, I don't mind. It's Ashe as the response by IG.
So it's good news and bad news for you here, Mazel, because you asked for Shanji to be on something that had a little bit more playmaking potential, and on first glance, it looks like that's what we've got for Shanji, but actually, he's going to go for the exact same build as he did on the Maokai. So we'll see how it ends up playing out for Shanji and whether or not he can be a little bit more present.
Jayce. I like it. Because it might not need the most mechanical skill, but it's crazy that there's no response to this pick. Like, I just think that's so ridiculously cool that there is a pick that you literally just cannot do anything about in like 99% of cases. We'll see if that changes here. Maybe TheShy has the crazy counter pick that's going to make it work. But I also personally like the follow-up to the Jayce, the Zyra Jhin. It can go bot lane, and it's a very potent 2v2.
It is. I would err on the side of this being an Arky Zyra. I think that Zyra support is probably punishable, I think is the lightest term to put it. But what I really love is that they've picked Zyra when they know that the enemy can't pick Misfortune. Now, first of all, Misfortune, they see the Ashe, but also it's Fearless draft. Misfortune's been played. 0% chance of Misfortune coming in to ruin your day at all. But with this already, you've got such a good team fight setup as well, and this takes a little bit of the pressure off of Leave as well playing the Jhin. You're able to sit back a little bit. You've got 2 utility AD carries, and what this means is that we're going to get a carry in the mid lane for Doinb, and this is probably going to be one of those AD carries as well. Maybe not Tristana, but like a carry that builds physical damage, because you really love to see solo AP junglers.
So I think IG might have a thought, either maybe banning Doinb. He's Renekton in mid if he wants to go Renekton, but maybe thinking that the Jayce is still potentially going mid lane and changing that one up a little bit. I do really appreciate the flexibility we've seen in the drafts of the LPL over these last couple of days, and saving a lot of the set structure of a team until like literally the last couple picks. It's the Orianna ban from NIP, so they don't want to give that one over to Rookie. We'll see what we get from IG's second phase.
Already lost one game to it. Maybe it was the 1 versus 1, but they're not letting Rookie take Orianna this time round. Blind pick, quote quote, for IG into the mid lane. Interesting, since they definitely see, or they should theoretically be seeing some part of the NIP solo lanes. This is that nod, as you mentioned, Mazel, to this being a flexible Jayce pick, could still go into the mid lane. And it's the Taliyah taken. I like this as an answer to the Jayce. I also like this as a potential take blind into the mid lane. And I'm not sure what NIP are doing right now. They've seen a champion that sort of destroys champs with mobility, and they've just picked Lux and Hover, 2 that have a lot of it.
All right, whatever, man. I'm here for it. What's funny also is Taliyah was actually meta back in 2022 whenever they went at each other in the LNG V5 days. So kind of funny bringing it back for Rookie here. Give a little bit of punishment to Doinb, but it is going to be the Ambessa Nautilus as the double lock-in for NIP to finish off this Game 2 draft.
So all of a sudden, you know, maybe going into the second round of picks, Gala was sat there thinking, I'm going to have quite a nice time this game. I'm going to have to dodge some skill shots maybe, but that's about it. All of a sudden, Ambessa Nautilus. Okay, well, now my life just became a lot more difficult. So we'll see how that ends up playing out as we get Karma top lane.
Let's go! Hey, we were hoping counter pick was going to mean something. Maybe this is the answer that they needed to have the damage profile here with the AP burst coming through for IG. But it is going to be into an Ambessa. Maybe a little bit difficult, but we'll see how that matchup ends up being. He obviously was thinking this could be the case.
Yeah, I guess that the theory here is that NIP can theoretically flex Ambessa to mid lane as well, but when you're playing Ambessa versus Taliyah, you probably don't want to do that. Karma should be able to run about as fast as the Ambessa tries to dash up. I think the Ambessa probably still has the advantage there, but what you've got is a root on the Karma as well, so you should be able to lock her down, run away real quick, and then maybe try and get back in. I'm curious about the Karma's build path here. It could very easily be something of the ilk of, okay, we'll go tier Fimbulwinter into full tank like we see from Jayce's, but equally could be tier and maybe a Fimbulwinter, but then into things like Seraphs or into not Seraphs but supportive items, let's say, more so than anything else. So opting into a Moonstone or something to support the team might be what they look for as well. So a lot of options for this Karma this game.
Well, we had all the relationships building up into this one. We have the recombination of TheShy and Rookie from that World Championship roster. We have Jiejie and Meiko back together from that World Championship roster. We have ppgod from the time that Rookie was on V5. We have Shanji and Aki, the OMG legends, on the other side. All those relationships, those are all fine and dandy. It's great. It builds so much tension in the air. It's awesome. But a win is what you really need, because this is single round robin, best of 5, full fearless. And you have to win. Top 2 make it through to the next round. Bottom 2 are out of winter. And with 2 big name teams like this, every win matters. Every kind of bit of momentum matters. And I want to see NIP kick it back into form and find something going on. Because when Doinb joined this roster, everybody was so excited to see what this guy could bring to the table. And here in game 2, I want to see him light it up.
Need to see just a little bit more from Doinb. Now, he's still opted into that grasp. He's still got that Doran shield to begin with. TheShy.
Oh, no. TheShy.
Oh,
he's going to get caught. Deadly Flourish early. That's huge. That's a really bad start for Leave, but it's not going to be. I got it. First blood for NIP.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Flash for first blood under the turret. That's the feat of strength notched off already. Great start for NIP, and again, just adapting to what they're expecting to happen in the level 1. They move their way up to the top side. TheShy gets caught out. A little bit of missed execution between who's going to layer their CC, but overall, all that means is that they have to burn a flash on Leave. They don't lose out on the kill, but Boots now able to be picked up for the Jhin. That means that he's going to be able to kite out even more, and they've actually read this swap once again. It looks like they're trying to match down on this bot side and keep this Karma down.
That actually is super important, although not having the flash early can mean that punishment comes a little bit quicker. You also got the boot start for Leave that actually enables Jhin so well. And I really love the early adaptations, the early resources we've been seeing from Leave and ppgod. It's been a sight to behold. Something that NIP, maybe I wasn't expecting for this team coming into this build. I'm like, oh, it's all about Doinb, Aki, and Shanji. But Leave and ppgod showing that they have a right to be here as well.
I mean, they found first blood in the first 2 games now, so that's certainly something that we need to keep our eyes on as a potential condition that NIP can be working with. You can already see the tentative nature that TheShy has to play with down on this bot side as he's... When was the last time it was played?
Yeah, it was. Yep, we've gotten 2 in a row now. 2021, LNG versus Suiting. Makuya played it. It'll be the last time we got to see the top Karma.
Okay, and well, a little bit of a return, and I guess Shanji, TheShy, had a little bit of a competition coming into this. Who can pick the oldest champion? I think so far Shanji wins, wasn't it 2020 for the Maokai top last time? So TheShy's going to have to pull something out in game 3 that's taking the archives way further back.
Bring on the Quinn, please.
Oh, no.
So a big problem with this lane setup especially is the lane that has the Jhin and the Nautilus is just so oppressive. Obviously, laning phase for Jhin Nautilus is just so ridiculously good, and I want to see NIP play around that. Aki was hovering around bot side, so that's a start to that progress. But maybe looking at mid lane now, Rookie doesn't have much mana. Doinb going in for an early trade. Aki not able to get there soon enough.
Yeah, I think that ganking mid lane just in general, since, I mean, this was the Season 14 changes, did become significantly more difficult if you're going through those river angles. But Aki, he had a bit of free time on the map. The power of the Zyra is that you clear just so much faster than necessary. So he just showed his face mid lane. So if there was anything there, well, there wasn't. Goes back to clearing his crab. 3v2 now mid lane.
Okay, well, they actually get the flash out there, so that will absolutely be returned to, and ppgod getting on a roam is good stuff early for NIP. They do still see Rookie running away. They did not see that Jiejie was still in the river there. Did get that scuttle crab. Nothing else going to come of it. Rookie going to get a back off, or maybe even... Yeah, okay. He's just going to go for it.
Rookie went to Narnia for this recall. He thought he was getting chased to the end of the earth for that one. But he's going to have that teleport back into the mid lane. We'll probably lose a couple of creeps under the turret anyway, but should be able to get back and receive the majority of that experience. Good to see, though, that Doinb putting a little bit of pressure down onto Rookie this time. Yes, there's been a hover or two from his support and his jungler, but by and large, those trades are going the Jayce's way without any interaction.
And that's really nice. Ooh. Gala getting a nice little trade on Shanji. Unfortunately, he's just an ADC, and that is Ambessa the Iron Wolf.
Yeah, so when those cooldowns come back up, you'll be going all in.
Okay, Deadly Flourish combo there. You get the crash down, though, onto Leave. Actually, TheShy doing a ton of damage. Gets the cleanse out of Leave there. Who would have thought Karma Rell combo is actually going to be a good answer?
Well, apparently IG did, and they pieced together this one and decided that this is how we're going to manage the bot lane that NIP have drafted for themselves. You highlighted it perfectly, the potency that it's got. What I will say is that this is actually denying TheShy's grasp stacks quite significantly.
Yeah. Normally
up against an Ambessa, you'd probably be farming quite a lot. This case, however, that's not going to happen because he's struggling to proc them. The Nautilus, maybe you can get a couple, but you're not going to get too many versus Leave at all.
Aki just doing the camp over the wall, no big deal. Simple as that. I love the mechanics. And the other thing, yeah, go ahead.
That's not, no, I was just, that's not in any way obnoxious, is it, to try and look at?
So we're going to look at a mid lane set up by NIP. I think, obviously, with grubs on the table, but Dragon already being spawned, there's a lot of objective contesting that can happen. NIP want to try to get to this top side to get these grubs going early. They were very dominant, at least last time around, getting those grubs, so they'll stick to that plan.
So NIP a little bit late on their initiation of this swap. Shanji would have liked to have caught that bot wave under the turret that's actually already died, so they're missing out on just a little bit of experience, but it's not something that they need to be too worried about. They've moved their Jhin up to that top side of the rift to try and secure some prio on the Herald. Gala might have to flash.
Ooh, I think he was out of that one, but didn't want to get lollipopped.
Oh,
and Gala burning the flash, but now chasing down ppgod. Gotta remember the approach velocity. It's got to be pretty nice to chase him down, but they don't allow that as Leave get a nice trade back onto Meiko. Aki showing up as well. Does have the Strangle Thorns available. Jiejie was taking Dragon that entire time, so it is the objective trade early.
So there's going to be at least a couple of plates that go over here and a dive as well.
Oh, Stranglethorn sets it up like a red carpet of grass, and there you go. Gala is the only one left on top side, and plates going over.
Doinb as well, just lurking nearby. Fancied a little bit of something extra, but isn't going to commit too hard for it. Doesn't want to miss out on too much in the mid lane, but 2 plates for NIP plus a kill. Continuation of their early game dominance, really seeping into game number 2 as well.
That's Leave ppgod combo is kind of cooking, Roodood. I don't know. Gala gonna wait to deny the back from ppgod. He realizes he's angry. He's gonna smash that ward there. But man, I mean, that's 2 games in a row. We've seen Leave start off with a strong start, and that is what was expected when he was brought up to the starting roster for EDG.
Is that, yeah, he would just be able to take these laning phases largely by storm, and I'm very happy to see that that has been what's happened. I mean, Gala as an AD carry, I feel like has been one of those players that we've expected to be a scaler more so than his laning dominance is what we've come to know Gala for. And, by all means, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it feels like the Gala story was you can deliver in team fights, and that Jackie Love was one of those AD carries that we're expecting to really try and punish in the laning phase, and it seems like Leave sort of trying to fit that more Jackie Love ilk than other.
It was so funny. That's why Gala was playing AP last year. Now Rookie under threat in mid lane will flash over the hook. But Gala was like one of the best zigs in the league last year, and trying to stay away from the AD matchups, and it was really funny to me. But yeah, this is a guy that we all know his Kai'Sa plays. We all know his positioning strengths, and especially the way he can play team fights. The Ashe may be a little bit more utilitarian from that, but his utilitarian nature with his Enchanted Crystal Arrow is still a sniper to be worried of. We'll see. Now we get back to what was initially supposed to happen in TheShy taking on Shanji and getting some of those grass stacks.
Yeah, you can see already very early doors that TheShy has picked up a set of plated steel caps. Hook doesn't quite connect down on that bot side, and nor does the Deadly Flourish. But one of the concerning things is actually the experience differential in that top lane. TheShy level 6 and Shanji just now ticked over to level 8. So if there are any form of all-ins to come through, you know, those trades should be feeling very, very positive for Shanji. And NIP right now, they've got a lot of good pieces on the map that they can look to play around. They were able to find those first 3 grubs. They got first blood. They've also got decided XP advantage in that top lane and a gold lead in the bot lane. Lots of good things to work with so far.
Been consistent hovering from Aki over towards this bot lane, just playing towards leaving ppgod. You saw a little bit of rebuttal there from Jiejie going bot side. But honestly, I will say, Leave was very close to dying there if Gala thought that he was alone, because he was going to get slowed down. He was left all by himself in the bot lane. Luckily, nothing comes of it, and now we're going to get readaptation of force towards topside.
Mazel, I'm going to need you to trust me right now, as I might need to hold this point as Aki shows his face topside on a ward, though.
No,
don't look at the build paths. Don't look at the build paths of any of the players right now, and guess what item is in Doinb's inventory?
I mean, I know there's got to be a tier, at least.
There's a tier, right? Yeah, and then the first component that you went for. Giant spell. You know what? He just got that. He just picked that up. I'll allow it.
Oh, dang it. Oh, so I wasn't right. What's the other tank? I'm trying to think. I'm not looking. No, I'm not looking. What's the other piece of the tank thing? The shield. What's it called? What's it called? Dang, I was right. I just looked down. I was right.
They're fighting, though. Okay.
Oh, no.
And you don't need a shield. You need a lot more than that, unfortunately, if you're Jiejie in that case. Really some nice pickup, though, from NIP, just sneaking around, making sure that they're getting themselves into a spot of bother, I suppose, more than anything.
I'm actually just surprised that he died that fast. That's actually insanity. Because now we're going to get the engage. I mean, this collector start is a lot of early damage for the Jhin. Need going with that one as grubs go down to Anki. This will be another game of dominance, but this time I think we got to get ready for Grubageddon because they got all 6.
Okay, so that's 2 pickups of the feats of strength marker towards the objective one, let's say, and then this is already going to be an early game lead picked up by NIP, but now Meiko wants to get some more.
Just kill the tank Jayce before he gets to be a tank. That's what the strategy is, and it works. Perfect. Meiko is the one that claims the kill.
And the whole point that we played that game was to say this may well be Jayce in the mid lane, but it's the same obnoxious tank Jayce that you were hoping for to begin with. So we can rest happy at least a little bit as yourself to try and find the Jayce still being a massive threat when it comes to that tankiness.
I think this champion is very fun to watch just because it's so ridiculously broken. Now, we did get the Eclipse start there for Shanji, a typical start for the Ambessa, but I am wondering now that we're getting to another dragon if it's going to be of heavy importance for IG to contest this one or if they're just going to give away the feats of strength because it's already started and you have to try to get in here if you want to deny that one.
It looks like it's probably just going to be forfeit. Aki takes this very, very quickly and without really any problems as well. And that is feats of strength picked up outside of that 1 kill picked up by Rookie down in the bot lane. Or not even by Rookie, by Meiko down in the bot lane with the assistance of Rookie. This game going very, very favorably for NIP. The question now becomes what can they do to push the pace of this? Last time they had this lead, they struggled around a Rift Herald fight, but now they're looking down on this bot side.
They actually get an engage onto Aki. They actually burn him down as well. The cease and assist locking him down. Got the Stranglethorn up, and there you go. Doinb gets his as Leave helps set him up. We're getting so close to a dive a little bit further on down there, and they did get one. Gala trying to get mid lane.
I think as Jiejie, you'll be more than happy with that pickup to try and protect your mid laner as well, but Leave charging for Gala.
Oh, the predicted the Deadly Flourish, but gets the flash out of Gala there. Will not be followed up on. And now that they've gotten the feats of strength, by the way, Jhin is so happy. Those upgraded boots for Jhin are ridiculously good. Yes.
We love Swifties. We love movement speed. And it is just the skill check stat, I think, more than anything else. You can dodge out on Karma Qs, Ashe volleys, even if you're, up close and personal, Taliyah Q in particular, and then everything that Rell has to offer. Movement speed is just such a valuable statistic, especially for a Jhin who gets it innately from when he crits. Now I get to see a replay of what happened down on this bot side, and it's just a good engage by Meiko. Aki steps a little too close to the Rell there. Doesn't quite land the CC onto Rookie either. Means that there's not a lot of follow-up possible. Fortunately, NIP had the numbers advantage, and they were able to pick one off in response. And The Jiejie Deathless game #1 has been already made up for by NIP by picking off twice early on in this one.
He's just sitting there typing to the refs like, that's not playable, no. He literally
I'm
didn't
getting
get
bullied.
He didn't even get to press any buttons. He was just CC'd the entire time. As it does look like Atacon will be in top side of the rift. And we'll see if that actually changes the attention of NIP. TheShy, nice little sidestep there. Okay, old man got hands. Let's go.
That hits me every time. What happened?
No more lollipop.
No. Shanji in trouble.
He's going to go for the public execution, goes for the flash as well after he doesn't hit it. Now he's just trying to get over to Rookie. My goodness, Meiko takes the damage. Shanji! He gets one, he gets out, and that's the Iron Wolf.
And he fakes out Meiko there. The public execution goes wide, and Meiko sends himself to the cleaners. He has no idea where the Ambessa is going to end up and misses on everything. Ends up being a 2v1 dive where the Rell's tanking and gets taken down.
Absolute insanity. That's the kind of stuff I love to see Shanji pull it off, and I'm glad they gave him a little bit more resources instead of being on that lame Maokai last game. We did see the tier 2 tower taken in bot side, responded to by that top side by IG. Leave, gets connected on by the cease and assist, and Jiejie is right back to his old ways, and revenge is served. Stringathorn right back. Aki gets the double knock up, and Shanji's back to bring nightmares yet again. That's a couple quick kills right back to NIP.
NIP will sacrifice their AD carry but pick up 2 kills of their own. What can they do with this time? They've already taken a tier 2 turret down on the bot side, but no turrets taken elsewhere on the map. NIP feeling a little bit sort of choked out as where they can and can't play because they've accelerated the pace very quickly down on that bot side. But tier 1 still up in top lane, still up in the mid lane. Breaking this mid lane tier 1 is going to do wonders for them when trying to break their way into this mid game.
My goodness, this is a highlight reel, and Meiko just bites the bullet. Oh,
yeah.
man.
Okay, so he actually forced the flash, but even still, Shanji able to dance around, dashes the shattering strike as well. And Rookie also, you know, forced to flash away there. If he takes one more turret shot, he does fall. Okay.
Oh, Gala is just going to hunt down Leave there. Leave no longer existent, and unfortunately we're getting yet another rendition of what we saw last game. Laning phase, all fine and dandy, and get all these leads. Once you get out of there, it gets a little bit more dicey. TheShy, speaking of dicey, is going to lock down Shanji.
Okay, it looks like Shanji had used that ulti a little bit earlier on and wasn't able to find the connection on it, but even still, getting a lot of damage down onto TheShy, who's opting into... Honestly, I'm not even going to try and predict the build path. Probably a Seraph's at some point with the Lost Chapter, but we have got a Giant's Belt as well. Now another fight around the river.
Going to get the second Shattering Strike there as ppgod just getting locked out from hell. He's just going down too. Rookie from the side is just throwing rocks. Aki gets the nice knock up in a Gala, and here comes Doinb doing damage as a tank because that's what matters, and they go straight to the Rift Herald.
And then 4 versus 3, the IG don't win. They had the numbers advantage. They weren't able to come out on top. They get forced away. Maybe there's a little bit from the fact that TheShy wasn't there and that Shanji was moving over, but even still, NIP, they are much better pressed in this game. Even though the gold lead is only 2,000, they feel so far ahead.
They really do. It's a lot to do with the compositional style, right? They have a lot of range. They have a lot of setup once the team fight kicks off as well. I think that's going to need to be played towards as well. And Shanji's going to have a big ticket item in a lot of these fights to find that back line and be disruptive. Now, Dragon is started up. This would be second Dragon of the game for NIP, and one more towards that Infernal Soul for them.
I think we're setting up here, Mazel, for what could very easily be a bit of a Shanji show. We've already got picked up a couple of kills for the Ambessa in the top side. Now looking at seeing if he can transition this early game advantage he's picked up into a full carry in those team fights. Arrow start us off with, lands on ppgod, and the dodge from Gala looks good to begin with. Unfortunately, you stand on top of somebody with a depth charge going through, you're going to get hit by some CC, and it's very well played by Arki to layer that CC, waits for his spells until the Ashe is already knocked up, and able to take them down, and Gala pays the price.
I would say a bang play, and unfortunately they just got knocked up a plenty there. Turret in mid lane is barely gonna hang on. Had a little bit of a fight in top side in the 1v1. Shanji versus Rookie in this matchup. Again, kind of like you were saying before, if it was gonna be the laning phase, not necessarily a matchup that Ambessa is gonna be happy about. We do have Jiejie and Meiko here. The back started too late. Weaver's wall coming across. Gets the Magnet Storm over, and there you go. Seismically killed.
Unless...
No! Oh, he went back in.
Okay, well, looked like he was going to be out, and maybe could have bought a little bit of time for his team to come down and collapse. It might still be the case, but no. The passive from Taliyah, Vi's Vault Breaker. Okay, they have enough tools to get out to safety. Maybe a little bit overzealous there from Shanji. Used the flash and got out to safety. And just as I tried to build him up to be one of the heroes for NIP in this game, he throws his life back. Yeah, that's maybe my bad.
I do like, you know, you're just in that intense moment. You just want to press all the buttons, you know?
Yeah.
But I think he was maybe even going to die anyways in the end. But
it's quite likely.
Yeah, probably. Okay, well, I guess we'll find out because we're going to get a slow-mo replay, I'm sure.
So he's already 60% sort of at the start of this fight. And again, Ambessa, once the first stun's been down... he was actually just so low HP.
Yeah.
I thought he'd gone in on like 20%, 30%, which might have been playable. No, he was just like 100 HP. So yeah. I mean, fair play. He's probably gonna die there anyway.
Now we are looking at item completions. We're on second item for a majority of members in the game. Atacon has been looming large here in the top side of the map. Very important to use the momentum that brings to really crush the souls of the enemy, and NIP. I'll look to put a little bit of presence up here. Doinb on 2 items is massive on this tank Jayce as well.
I mean, that Spectre's Cowl is doing good work as well. 2.5 really finished for the Jayce. Is not really under threat from, I think, anyone.
He's going to get comboed here, but again,
he's a tank, guys.
He loses about half his health. And then you get rebutted, and it's insta-death for Gala. My God, his health bar just disappeared.
That was through barrier as well, by the way, and he was killed in the space of the Zyra route. In the time that it took for that route to go down, he was 100 to 0'd leave with a lovely little deadly flourish there. Picks off Gala, and this should mean that Atacon now picked up without really any consequence.
Doinb gonna go play bodyguard here as Aki is actually the focus. Aki left out a little bit, but Shanji goes for the public execution, and they're trying to lock him down. Meiko has come back. Shanji gonna forfeit his life. Look at TheShy. He's just in the middle of the fight there. Gets flashed on by Lee with that 4th shot, baby, and that'll be going towards that achievement as Jiejie being chased down by Lee. Now maybe a little bit of revenge right back to him, but Doinb's the one that gets the kill, and this is just run down central for NIP. They're just chasing IG into the hills.
Atacon at their backs. They can do no wrong at this point. Worst case is they give over 100 gold and get withdrawn back to the fountain. But tier 2 turret top playing the next part of their siege. How much are they going to look to take with this buff? A reset to begin with, because they just got a lot of gold. You have to imagine that there are going to be some item completions finished off the next time they hit that base. Doinb, again, so tanky, you just can't take him down. And then Aki from Fog of War lands the root. Rookie, who's just backstepping enough, doesn't quite get caught out by it, but that could have been an entirely different fight if he was as well. And we get to see the speed up. It felt a little bit disjointed, really, from NIP, right? Aki left in the lurch a little bit by having TheShy and Meiko trying to cordon him off. But overall, had enough in the tank, and ppgod, quite rightly it feels like, turned his way back down to the attention of TheShy, and he wasn't able to do enough.
Yeah, that decision-making, not the cleanest in terms of what they were focusing on in the moment, but really good capitalization by NIP. They will still also have the Atacon GAs up so they can continuously press if they want to. We're getting now 3rd item there for Doinb, and this is the kind of stuff that I love to see Doinb cooking. It's not the Akali mid, it's cooking on the tank Jayce. It's finding ways to beat the legendary Rookie in this mid lane 1v1.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, for me at the very least, giving shades of what is going to be a very, very tight series. Both of these two teams have shown great strength. I think if NIP are able to put this game to rest, then we're more than happy. Well, picture-in-picture there. We saw Gala's flash forced from just a poke from the Jayce EQ Shock Blast, and then the follow-up from Leave's Deadly Flourish was going to connect. The amount of times we've seen Gala flash a Deadly Flourish this game, honestly, off the charts.
Casero onto Aki. Still has the GA available, though. So even if they get him here, he'll just get the reset. They do get him, as well as the Stranglethorn out from him. Chains are connecting. Look at Jiejie. He's been buying time over here as Leave only hits one shot, but actually chunks Gala pretty heftily. Jiejie might have an angle. Rookie was potentially looking for something as well. They did end up seeing Jiejie over there, I do believe, but Doinb getting locked down a little bit by the chains. Another shock blast goes through, and that's just tank Jayce for you.
Yeah, and I mean, fortunately enough for IG, I think that's a job well done. The fact that they're able to pick up Arky as a player who doesn't have teleport, so taking him down and sending him back to the fountain stops their assault on an IP's side. Means that there's nothing really more for them to get with that Artican. Probably going to have to reset and start turning their attention towards Barons, Dragons, and the like. Remember, they're on Soul Point already with this, Infernal Soul in their back pocket. They're going to do a lot of work that they aren't already doing. And I think that in particular, Infernal Soul Jhin might be just my most favored champion to pick it up.
Oh, absolutely. It feels so good. Deadly Flourish connects from distance there as Aki's trying to chase down Meiko.
Run, Meiko, run!
He doesn't get him
Gets
in the
out.
end. They are going to try to put a little bit more pressure in this top side. There is a Baron coming up in about 5 seconds, since Baron spawns at 25 minutes now. And this just sets up a beautiful potential for NIP to get a game-winning push unless they want to buy time for that dragon.
Yeah, I think that the Baron obviously helps them break open the base, and then the Infernal Soul will help them out with any of the fights that they look to take during that process. So we'll wait and see sort of how well that ends up playing out for them. Waiting till 25 minutes, it feels more appropriate. You've got a lot more tools at your disposal. You've got those couple of extra items that you just typically need to take it on spawn. The issue that they've got is that their DPS threats for the Baron come honestly exclusively from Arky. He's the big DPS threat on these neutral objectives, who is currently, worth mentioning, 2 levels up over Jiejie. So overall, a very good bounce back from the entirety of NIP, but specifically Arky, who had not a rough game number 1, but definitely got outshone, and in this game is doing the exact opposite.
I mean, this is a guy who, in like my first year of LPL, locked in Zed jungle. He's an assassin player. He's a guy that's been growing so much over the last years, and ever since his time on OMG. I mean, he was a key factor to that OMG Dark Horse squad, and back with Shanji continuing that growth, and it's nice to see that bounce back for it, at least in terms of the series itself, because Jiejie completely controlled that first game besides the grub. So getting a little bit more stable ground underneath them with a Zyra pick as well, so not necessarily pinning yourself down too heavily in the rest of the Fearless games too.
And as tension mounts in this game, Mazel, this is when you're looking at your experienced players, and I think more specifically when I'm looking at Leave on this NIP roster, as there have been a couple of deaths already this game, just stepping on a mid-wave when we shouldn't have been. It looks like Doinb has largely taken up the mantle of helping clear that mid-wave, and Leave just needs to protect his own life, I think, just to begin with. 3 full items on this Jhin. It's beginning to really churn out that damage with 75% crit chance. So he's up to actually nearly finishing off that 100% with the Noon Quiver in his inventory, but it's certainly somebody who just needs to tighten up in game number 2. Couple of deaths, game number 1, couple of extra ones that we might not have had, but can live and die by how much damage this team is able to put out with the Jhin.
Can we just go back in time just now to where you were saying Jhin does damage? I'm going to record it. I'm just going to play it on loop over and over again, because that's what I love to hear. Look at all of the... Look at he's getting to that point. Late game Jhin is an absolute fiend. You're just critting people for 900 on cooldown. I love it. I love it. Hey, Jhin does damage, people. All right, Jhin does damage. I don't want to hear no slander, as Dragon's going to be coming up here shortly. It would be Soul for NIP, and that might just be the ticket to a evened up series. This has been a incredible viewing from NIP in terms of giving Shanji something a little bit more proactive, keeping Aki's head above water, and Leave and ppgod still finding a lot of access. Now, Doinb is going to go right back. He's tanked Jayce. What did I tell you? Stranglethorn with the flash. He doesn't get him. Now you got a big curtain call. Not going to get Meiko in the end. 4th shot does hit Gala, but Doinb gets out alive.
And that right there, just that initial chunking, is going to secure Soul for them. Can be left to largely be soloed, but IG, they've sensed this. And they're going to go for the flip. ppgod already sees it. There's a TP into the mid lane from Doinb. They have to very quickly retreat. And that is, there we go, the free pickup for NIP. Infernal Soul in game number 2 versus IG.
28 minutes in, too. Trying to keep a little bit of forward activity going. I am happy that IG backed off of that. Luckily, they have some big brains in the room to tell them that's a bad idea. And we'll be getting to third items for Rookie. Third item already completed for Gala. Does that make a difference here, Rood?
I mean, technically yes, but in the way of the scheme of things for the game, I feel like no. I mean, Gala, these items are really geared towards single target DPSing down champions who have built up that armor. It's a kill Doinb build, if possible. But even then, I think this is still really tricky, and I think that the amount of damage that is coming out of Gala at this point in the game, not enough to get through what is a really beefy front line in Doinb, in Ambessa, who's as well with Shanji going to be so terrifying to try and deal with. And at this stage in the game, we've got TheShy on this Karma top, which really didn't have the desired effect of the early game because of NIP's lane swaps. And I think that this Karma now, even with this build of, Randuin's tier, you have to become a support, because that's what your champion does best. Try and keep Gala alive as best as possible. But even then, you've not built towards doing that, and that can very easily be a struggle.
TheShy feeling like he needs a little bit of self-sustain, I guess, as they just catch out this completely. Meiko gonna get the curtain call out. Gonna try to dodge it. One more shot. Hey, Meiko makes it out alive. Very, very close. Throws up the faker broccoli. Leave is playing a little bit of fun there. I love that.
So now he's got to go back to base. That's the difference between starting a Baron and not starting a Baron for NIP. The fact that Meiko lives. There's an opportunity now for Meiko to come back out onto the map to put these wards down and help out his team as they move into the mid lane. IG definitely on the back foot here, but starting to get mid push. Shanji lurking under this tier 1 turret, and NIP missed engage.
That was a flash from ppgod trying to find the angle there. Doesn't get it. We'll have the Hex Flash coming up, though. Does not have the Ignite anymore as they go for the Deadly Flourish. It connects onto Gala. They go for the Engage as well. Public execution, and Gala is absolutely executed. Shanji's running rampant on the back line. Jiejie is going for the hills, but the hills have eyes, and it's Lee watching him be put into the dirt as Rookie chased down by Shanji, and IG are completely dusted. ppgod goes for the depth charge, but it's going to be the combo, the Deadly Flourish from Lee to chase them to oblivion, as now they have the mid lane push to get an evening score on this best of 5.
You asked for it in game 1, Lennon. In game number 2, Shanji delivers a public execution of Gala. And Meiko, block what you can, but you cannot block that.
Tony Stark, where have you gone? As Shanji takes him down by hand. And what a game. What a turnaround of the series. And I finally get to cast more than a 3-0. Let's go.
It's a win. It's a win, everybody. We have got teams that are willing to try and battle one another. We've also got teams that are willing to do so effectively. NIP, in a complete contrast from game number 1, they got the lead early, but then they ran through with it. They had an excellent mid game. Didn't really show too many signs of slipping up. There were a couple of instances where IG had a little bit of life sort of breathed back into them, where they'd cross-map, try and kill Shanji on the bot side, were successful in doing that. But all the while, the NIP side more than happy to accrue advantages on that top side of the map and consistently developing that lead, getting those objectives, the Infernal Soul proving to be very important, the Otacon buff proving to be exceptionally important, which is a trend that we're beginning to see again and again. So really solid stuff from NIP and putting us to a 1-on-1. We said at the top that it wouldn't be a surprise if NIP took a couple of games, wouldn't be a surprise if they won their series, but it would definitely be an upset.
It absolutely would be. I don't even think Dr. Doom could save them from that one. That one's a really fun one as well, because like you had mentioned at the end, like, we just got to see what we wanted to see from the adaptation from game 1. We got to see a little bit more proactivity from Doinb, a lot more proactivity from Shanji, but the unsung hero for me has to be Aki. I mean, Jiejie ruled that game in game 1, and the fact that he was able to have so much control over the jungle on a Zyra jungle feels really good, at least for the prospects of NIP, because we're getting a lot of performance from across the table and not just particular individuals.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the team-wide nature of this, nobody really felt like they dropped the ball. And the bits where it felt, oh, actually, this is a little bit tricky, was when there were a couple of missteps mid-game, right? Leave, not without his couple of shaky steps into that mid lane, but they were quickly corrected. Either he's sort of, righted himself, because he died 2 times really quickly, and that can be a really quick sort of jolt for you as well as a player. Like, yeah. I just died twice in 2 minutes, let's cut it out. Or whether it's somebody on the team going, Leave, what are we doing, bud? Like, if you can't see them on the mid wave, don't step on it, right? That type of communication and that type of growth within game in such a short time span just speaks to the level that this NIP roster can play at.
It does, and I'm glad to see that. Now, the biggest question is, does that flexibility in draft continue? Because now, moving forward, we are going to get, no doubt, 4 games at least, and that means those fearless bans start to come into effect a lot more, at least, and a lot more champions off the table. There were some big ones in this game that were taken off the table, especially for IG, grabbing that Ashe and not having success with it. Ashe has been a ticket to a lot of wins so far in the LPL season.
Yeah, and it felt like they weren't quite utilizing those ECAs as well as we've come to expect. Sort of when you're looking to play Ashe with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, every time the AD carry steps up on a mid-wave, you can be looking to try and punish them. Force a flash, force a cleanse. Leave didn't even take cleanse this game. Had barrier up, right? Was using it just to sort of taunt almost to keep Gala away from where he wanted to be. And the fact that they weren't able to find success on that Ashe could be indicative of how the series ends up playing out.
It could be. I think the fact that we got to see the back and forth between Jiejie and Leave play out the way it did so far is a lot of fun, but it's all about the things we set out from the beginning talking about, trying to figure out how these things work. Like Leave needing to find consistency outside of lane. We needed Aki to find consistency everywhere on the map, and things like Shanji and TheShy not getting caught outside lane, having a lot of at least possibilities in the laning phase itself for them. And we take a look at that, and I mean, hey, Aki
unsung
on the Zyra,
maybe, but he was bumping. Yeah, like we figured that out. You figured that out, Mazel. Nice and early that Aki was going to be a key piece of this puzzle, and throughout this entire game, it looks like was doing a considerable amount of work.
Yeah, it was. That's Zyra plants go crazy, I guess. But it was right place, right time. He was playing consistently around Leave and ppgod. Like, every time they swapped sides of the map, every time they were looking at different objectives, moving across the grubs, things like that, he was always in that trio. And I think that's so powerful when you have this combination of champions, because you have multiple choices to play with Jhin. 2 of them, and 2 of the best ones, are Nautilus and Zyra, so just put it all together and it works well.
Make it a trio and you've got yourselves one holy trinity right there. And I mean, again, shout outs to Leave and ppgod, right? They found first blood on TheShy in the top lane. They were, again, consistently looking to be a force of presence in that bot side or as a bot lane duo, and they really ran home with that. Leave had that early advantage. It snowballed a little bit of Aki as well, who came out of the early game with a fair few assists, and they really ran away with it. I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
They got away with it. Why the hell does TheShy have 0% KP?
Why does my karma have 0% KP, Mazel? Why could we not shield one person who did any damage to anybody that died, Mazel?
Oh, that's bad. That's not good. That's just not good. That is oof. Let's just go to a different
oof, ouch, owie. Yeah.
That's actually insane to me.
We'll chalk that one up to but I'm not sure what we'll chalk it up to be honest. But maybe Karma top gets benched.
We'll look away from Karma. Well, it's banned in the rest of the series. You never have to see it again. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe they'll workshop that one a little more in some scrims, and then we'll get to see it against somebody else. By the way. Yeah, that was. I mean, that again speaks to the NIP roster as they've just. And I'm not sure at this stage with LPL so frequently laning bot lanes in top lane. I don't want to call who initiated what swap and who decided that they didn't want to do the 1v1 and the 2 versus 2. But whoever decided that ruined TheShy's game. So whether that was NIP being big brain or IG sort of fumbling a little bit, they can handle that however they please.
I'm just saying, in the past, TheShy has said that he doesn't always play what he wants to play because he plays for the team. I don't know if he was playing for the team in that one because he had a Randuin's Omen, but maybe we'll see a continuation of some growth in that category. But it is a little bit disappointing for MyG to not really have a fight back in this game, and I think that brings a lot of the conversation of how back and forth this best of 5 really can be, based on the picks and the drafts that we end up getting because of the flexibility that the meta is right now.
Exactly. And when we look at this versus, let's talk about their Demacia Cup failings, right? Game number 1, we can pretty much write off against top esports because of the level 1. But game number 2, there was a lot more bite back that they had in that second game. They were really trying their best to come back into the game and fought quite significantly to do that.
ppgod.
Oh, Aki robbed. Like, ppgod played very well. But Aki robbed. You know, this is the two. He did
land some great engages, but yeah, ppgod has a church and everything. You know, he probably got a lot of backing there.
I see. My theory is whenever a jungler does the most damage to champions in the game, they probably deserve it. They probably deserve the MVP.
That's
because
a rule of thumb.
You spend most of your time farming minions. You shouldn't be farming champions. All of these laners have got all the time to try and deal damage to champions. I've got to clear my camps, and then I've got to go and clear them as well.
Ah, I see. Well,
it's not like it was close either.
Fits. It was not even close, like not even at all. Which, hey, maybe just shows a little bit of what this team has to offer. I'm very happy that we got a bounce back from NIP and that we get a contested game number 2 at least. And now going into game number 3, see what IG can bounce back from. I'm sure they're going to be back on blue side since loser gets to choose sides. This best of 5 fearless kicks off after a short little break. We'll be back.